Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we'll be talking about an article from our friends over at Bounding Into Comics. But before we dive into this article about Wonder Woman 1984, please be sure to smash the like button, hit that Rumble button if you're watching over on Rumble, because I do upload these videos there as well. Fortunately, it's been taking a lot longer for videos to process there, and so I know sometimes I share the links out and people can't watch it right away, or there's an error message. There's nothing I can do about that at this point. But obviously, hope that Rumble develops into something a little bit better in the future. It does have some high hopes, I think, but it's got to start really, I think, picking those things up. If it can't do that stuff well, them talking about live streaming, it's like, do this well first, and then you can start to talk about live streaming. However, if you want to find out ways that you can support this channel, check out my social media links in the description, and also other ways that you can support the channel down there as well. So, as you can see from this headline, apparently the rumors that were swirling around that the main villain or one of the main villains in the movie Wonder Woman 1984 was going to be a Trumpian or Trump-like figure, turns out that it is true. And this is actually coming from people who have submitted early reviews of this movie. What's interesting is the fact that it's got, 80% or so on Rotten Tomatoes. Luckily, I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes. I don't look at Rotten Tomatoes anymore because it's a worthless site. It is a worthless site filled with worthless information because they've changed their system so many times that it makes it impossible for you to trust anything that they say. Not to mention, of course, all of the reviews currently up there are all from access media types who get early access to the movies and want to give these films either neutral or favorable views, because if they do, it means, hey, we'll continue to get that access, because if we give a scathing or really negative review, they might see that and say, well, we're never going to let you see these films again. Again, that's just how the industry works, and it's sad because it means you can't trust these critics, and that's why early reviews and early access with these access critics really honestly means nothing, because all of their reviews are tainted by this, and also tainted by identity politics as well, as we'll see as we read through some of these reviews that have been so far. Anyway, this is from JB Augustine, or Augustine. Don't exactly know how to pronounce the last name there. The theologian wants me to say, theologian in me wants to say Augustine, but it might just be Augustine. So it says, Wonder Woman 1984 review confirms villain Maxwell Lord is a stand-in for Donald Trump. Great. What everyone wanted in the year 2020 was an action superhero movie that deals with modern-day politics. Yeah, no one wants that. No one wants that. You don't know why movies exist and why they, especially the big budget films exist, so that we can escape, so that we can use it as a time to escape from all the craziness and nonsense of our world. And yet you constantly, Hollywood, you constantly drag us back down into reality, which is where we don't want to be. We do not care about your political ideology. We do not want to see what you think politically or what you think of certain people politically on the screen. All we want to see is good entertainment and fun. Why can't we get that, you idiots? Goes on. To no one's surprise, it's been controvertibly verified that the reimagining of Maxwell Lord, as played by Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 1984, is indeed based on President Trump. Reviews of the Patty Jenkins film are coming in, and they make it very clear who Lord is supposed to be. Yeah, when you have even the access media calling this out and saying what it's supposed to be, cannot be good, because if they themselves, who are much more likely to like this kind of thought, to like this kind of approach to filmmaking, if even they are calling it out, or even if they are noticing it, someone like me and others like me who just want to have fun are going to be like, are you kidding me? Why am I getting hit over the head with stupid political messaging? It's ridiculous. Anyway, Collider's review subtitled, I wish this were a better movie. I guarantee you that Collider probably gave them a pretty favorable review, though. I wish this was better. I have issues with the movie. One of the issues, of course, being the fact that it didn't go far enough in attacking Donald Trump, interestingly enough. But also, I guarantee you they still gave it a favorable score. That way, that Rotten Tomatoes percentage could be a little bit higher. And that way, when people see it, they'll say, oh, I still trust Rotten Tomatoes because I'm clueless. Wake up. If you're still using Rotten Tomatoes as a metric, don't use it anymore, because the only thing on there that used to be worth anything, because the critics have always been corrupted, was the audience score, because it was just mostly uncensored. People could let their views be heard, and the number was usually a lot more accurate. Now they've made it so difficult for anyone to put their reviews on there, and they put such controlled measures on that, all because of people not liking films like The Last Jedi because it was a bad movie, or films like Captain Marvel because it was a bad movie. They've now put all of these different controls in place to try and fix these scores. And this is something that I've covered in the past before on the channel. It says here, Collider's review subtitled this sums it up thusly. Patty Jenkins' sequel is a well-intentioned but sloppy punch against Trumpism. Who in the hell is asking for a Wonder Woman film to be an attack on Trump or Trumpism? Oh, no one? Oh, only the people over at the Mary Sue and in Hollywood and in the big tech media elites? Oh, okay. See, that makes more sense. Jenkins makes no secret to what she's aiming for with her movie, Collider's Matt Goldberg writes. Yeah, so the shills over at Collider are even calling this out, saying it's clear that the intention is clear, that it's an attack against Trump and Trumpism. This is something that's been reported on for a long time. There's been story leaks for a long time. We've had our suspicions since the trailers came out too. Turns out now even a shill like this person over at Collider is confirming that this is indeed what's happening. Now, what you've just done, Warner Brothers, now that what you've just done, Access Media, is you've just turned off a crap ton of people to wanting to go see this movie. Now, see me, I already have HBO Max, so it's already going to be on there, and because of your stupid model, I'm not going to have to pay any extra to watch your damn film, but I'm going to be able to watch it, I'm going to be able to talk about it, and I'm going to be able to call this crap out if indeed it's as rampant as this person claims. And again, if this person, who is most likely an incredibly highly liberal person who probably has TDS, probably hates the president of the United States, if even he is saying that, oh yes, this is what's going on, and it doesn't go far enough, it's a sloppy punch, then what is someone like me, who's more of an independently minded person who just wants to be entertained, going to think when I see this nonsense on the big screen? He goes on, set in the 1980s, she depicts a world of excess, self-entitlement, and indulgence, and Lord is a distinctly Trumpian figure with his reliance on mass media and conning others to amass more power. Ah, okay. Interesting. I love how this Collider review has now turned into a political campaign to saying, you've been conned, everybody. If you voted for this person, oh, you were conned by him. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, how's that Collider paycheck? How's that Access Media going for you, pal? Where you can say these kinds of things and you're not going to have any ramifications. You want to know if someone who is more of a conservative or more of a Republican-minded person were to say something to the opposite of this, you know what would happen to them? You know what? They would probably get fired. They'd lose their access forever. So therefore, they would actually have to take a risk. You are taking no risk in doing this. All you are doing is saying, well, look, I'm being critical. No, you're not. You're being a politician, rather more accurately, you're being a social justice warrior pretending to be a film critic. You are being an activist pretending to be a film critic. Get the hell out of the industry because you're destroying it for everybody else. Ridiculous. Nonsense. Complete nonsense. The reviewer draws a distinction, though, between Trump and Lord in one way, but goes after the POTUS and how he views his children in the process, writing, and this again, this is not being a critic, this is being an activist. Although Lord differs from Trump by genuinely loving his children and not just seeing his offspring as an extension of his own vanity. Really? You're going to take a fictional character and use it as a chance to attack the president? Man, your TDS is really bad. And if this person who says that this film is not that great, that it should have been better, is being critical of the movie because it's not going after the president enough, good Lord, what will someone like I think? It goes on, quote, Wonder Woman 1984 becomes even more muddled when you simply try to understand what Max Lord is up to. The reviewer adds, the movie doesn't fare much better with Barbara Minerva as in Cheetah, and overall the execution is atrocious. And I guarantee you probably gave a pretty good score. Execution might not be what Patty Jenkins cares about. Recently, she revealed her perspective that film is all about, like Joker put it in The Dark Knight, sending a message. Her intended message with Wonder Woman 84 is the usual, quote, America is built on greed and excess. Hollywood refrained plus the tired corollary, the 80s were the pinnacle of that. Jenkins, however, countered in August that Trump was only one inspiration that she drew from. Okay, so basically she's confirmed that indeed, yes, Trump was one of the persons that motivated this character, but also, yeah, this is an attack against American culture too. And once again, that's what everyone in America right now wants to go see. They want to go and have an escapist moment, all to be told, by the way, your American culture is based in excess. And again, are there truths to that? Probably, right? There's definitely excessive stuff that we can look at in consumerist culture. But for you to then say, I'm going to attack the president, I'm going to show my TDS on the big screen where even the crazy liberal TDS mediaites, who are not actual critics but activists, will even notice it and say it doesn't go far enough. If even they will go so far as to say that, guess what? Modern day, regular, everyday audiences are not gonna want to be preached to. Haven't you learned your lesson from Ghostbusters 2016? Haven't you learned your lesson from Star Wars The Last Jedi? Haven't you learned your lesson from Captain Marvel? Apparently not. People do not want this nonsense. Well, Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Okay, let's see how Captain Marvel 2 does. Oh, well, it will be after the pandemic. Excuses already, I hear it. Anyway, goes on. He's one of them, Jenkins told Screen Rant. Trump's definitely one of the people who we looked at, but it's any of that kind of mavericks of business succeed that was big in the 80s, who went on to be major players in our world in potentially questionable other ways. Jenkins deflected by saying she's not political and, quote, it's not about being political. Quote, I don't have an agenda to have a political message to send to the world. Everybody needs to look at themselves right now and our politics, our belief system of excess. Okay, so you say, I'm not political, and then you go on to say, everyone needs to look at themselves, our politics, our belief system of excess. You say, I'm not political, and then you make a political statement. Oh, and then your liberal friends at Collider and in the quote-unquote movie critic circle are calling you out for not being political enough. Okay, yeah, sure. Using Lord as a representation for Trump follows a trend in DC releases going back to the last year at least. Joker used Thomas Wayne as its cipher for soulless politicians and businessmen. Birds of Prey, a film on record as made to, quote, smash the patriarchy, and its caricature of Black Mask as a vain, paranoid misogynist followed. Yeah, I will say the one difference there in those two movies is that Joker's use of Thomas Wayne didn't really, I mean, I know some people try to say that there was a Trump comparison there, and to me, if there is a comparison to be made, it's very light. Basically, only if you want to see Trump in that character, you can. Pretty much any major politician, any powerful politician that does not care about anyone else, anyone can fit that character. Anyone can fit that role. This is different than what's going on currently with Wonder Woman 84 because, again, the director herself has said Trump was used as a stand-in, really, as a motivation, and then even a political reviewer. I don't even want to call him a reviewer anymore. This political activist pretending to be a critic, even he is going out of his way to say, yes, absolutely, she makes it very clear what she wants to do. Mrs. I'm not going to be political, but I'm still going to make a political statement. Ridiculous. And then as far as Birds of Prey was also a complete crap film, which is why it lost money initially on its box office release. And yeah, that's just a general expression of smashing the patriarchy, not directly linked to Donald Trump necessarily. Wonder Woman 1984 is coming out in theaters at the same time it hits HBO Max, so if the film fails, they can write it off without blaming Trump supporters, patriarchy, men, Comicsgate, or any other chosen boogeymen. Are you surprised by this? Well, shout out to you, JB, over on Screen Rant, over on Bounding Into Comics for that last point, especially because, yeah, every time these kinds of films fail, they always blame everyone but themselves. They will say, oh, it was the misogynist, it was the right wing, because I'm making a video like this and other people are likely to make similar videos, especially once the film actually comes out and we start putting out actual reviews instead of, again, these people pretending to be critics. Oh, I'm an independent film critic, again, which I've never actually claimed to be myself. Some might say, well, aren't you being a hypocrite yourself? It's like, nah, I've never really admitted to being one of those things. I am the critic who is a cynic. This is true, but I also am willing to call out culture, and this has been a part of the channel ever since its very inception. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this bit of news? Again, for a lot of y'all, I'm assuming it probably won't be very surprising. This is something that has been reported for a long time in leaks of the story, if those were true. I haven't read those leaks myself. All I know is that I don't want to be preached to. I don't want to go and try and be entertained just to be told, Orange Man bad, excess is evil and bad, and you're evil because you're a part of American culture. No one wants to see that. No one wants to be preached to, I am not political, but I'm making a political statement. Get over yourselves in Hollywood, and I hope that in whatever capacity this film can fail, it does fail. And I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of DC fanboys out there going, oh, no, you can't say that. DC is so good, and Zack Snyder. Just stop. All we want are good films, not political movies, and I don't care if the first film was mediocre, because here's the thing. The first Wonder Woman film was not amazing. It was not everything, it was not all that in a bag of chips. All right, it was pretty much just the bag of chips. It was like, oh, okay, chips are nice, but there's so much more that could be there, right? I kind of want the entree, I kind of want the whole meal there, right? It was this mediocre film with terrible CGI, and guess what? Based on the trailers we've seen for this movie, the CGI still looks terrible, especially that CGI for Cheetah. Good Lord, it looks completely awful. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see once the film comes out, and I will reserve full judgment of the film until that time, and I will, of course, try and go in with as open a mind as I possibly can. But as I said, if even a political activist is going to notice these kinds of things in the movie, how much more will I notice them as someone who is usually a little bit more sensitive to these types of things? Again, that's just my own thought. What are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this type of video, smash the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the Rumble button if you're over on Rumble. I think that's how it works over there. Still trying to figure it out. Let me know again. Reach out to me if you know anything about monetization over there, because I still don't quite know. I don't quite know how it works over there. But anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my December Patreon and Subscribestar members, starting off with Patreon, Albertus Magnus, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P., Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Cameo, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Miss Martin Muses, also known as Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bogend, Tina B, and the Modern Major General, Laura Story. Gotta give you that shout out for that one time that you were doubled up. Thank you very much for being my Patreon members. And now a huge shout out to all of my December Subscribestar members we have over there with Stand 4, Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all so much for being my Patreon and Subscribestar members. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream on the main channel, please consider joining over on those platforms. You can also get access to things like exclusive giveaways of 4Ks, Blu-rays. If you want a DVD, I guess you could also get a DVD as well, digital codes, and of course, you get to possibly join me on the channel once a month for the Chosen of Valhalla live stream and access to an exclusive podcast featuring John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where we have a lot of fun talking about movies and tons of other random things. Anyway, if you want to support these things, check out the links in the description of this video. And also, please consider joining my other channel, the OMB Report, where I talk about not just movies like I do over here, but I focus more so on politics, news, and culture in that order. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for your love and support. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.